Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and Droids across our beloved Empire to Arnold. Late at night, we have some news and some disappointing news, but mainly the main conversation piece you're gonna probably want to know that just came out is that apparently, I guess it's a Galaxy of Heroes meme, so I'm not that mad. Salacious Crumb, the little sidekick pet minion of Jabba the Hutt, is coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Just a few moments ago, I just wrapped up watching an interview that Heinze had with Crumb, talk about a couple of things which we are going to go over. I hate to say it was a very unproductive conversation with the usual roundabout talking points. Really, the only tidbit to really pull out is that in a very light teasing way at the very end, they said, oh, you know, good chance Salacious Crumb is coming to Galaxy. Now the question is this going to be a standalone character, which I find kind of hard to see, but it could maybe be a standalone character since it's a meme, or if it's just going to be integrated into Jabba's animation as well as his character model. Otherwise, it was not a great conversation. Otherwise, you can probably leave the video at this point, but if you're curious about their stance on gear economy changes and ship changes and fleet loadouts and data crons, well, maybe stick around. But as you can see, I was LOLing to myself while I was listening to all this stuff here. Anyways, let's go ahead and just roll some gameplay in the background while we talk about all this stuff. No, Gary, no, not the data crons. Bring them on over here. Let's actually start off with the data crons, since Gary's trying to head our conversation that way. They spent a good chunk of time at the very beginning talking about data crons, and the Crumb can't really do much. All they've been really saying is they're hearing our feedback and just kind of point at some feedback that's being put out there. I wish someone just would have put it out there. Why was this needed for Galaxy of Heroes? We kind of know why. Oh, it's a cheap way of creating content that you can constantly update. I really wish that was hammered in more. The interview's kind of just locked around this situation of, oh, we have this feedback, which they're hearing the feedback. We know that. What are they going to do about it? And unfortunately, as of now, no clear direction of it, but at least I got to give credit to Heinze and Grid, and they were at least making sure that they were aware that a good chunk of people are not happy with it. And Crumb's point as well, you know, they're looking at the data. There might be people saying one thing, but they're doing another thing. So it's gonna be here to stay, guys. We all know that. It's just unfortunate. It's not a very good productive conversation around it. They just kind of move past it, and there's not much Grid and Heinze can do to really change the course, except just make sure they're hearing our feedback. Next up, gear economy changes. Jeez. Oh man, I would have slammed them on this right here. So they acknowledge that they still haven't finished phase 1 of the Galaxy that they mentioned last year. Was it September, October, for being generous? There's still an active conversation inside the team in regards to where to land those phase 1 changes. Isn't that kind of funny? The people that control supply, demand, and just the universe, where they can just, with a click of a button, do something. It's not like we're asking, hey, solve the national debt, solve world hunger. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to get there. But when you can just do a few things of code, maybe a day or two, if that's an active conversation. When you guys talked about this in September, we're almost approaching a year at this pointer. So as of now, there's nothing that they know what they're gonna do in regards to gear economy change. Again, I was hoping there was gonna be a bigger announcement, like a conquest unit. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Again, it was just mostly corporate feedback, and I would maybe have accepted this response maybe 2-3 months after the road ahead, but almost a year. Come on, actions speak louder than words. Crumb, we get that you gotta put on a face. You're representing the corporation. You can't tell us what the problem really is. Actions speak louder than words at this point. And let's not even get to phase 2, because we're still working on phase 1 here, but there's an active conversation inside there. But at least they acknowledge they still have things to wrap up in phase 1. Unlike at Star Wars Celebration, they thought they were done. So it's good to know that we're making progress. Now they're reminded that they still have work to do, and Crumb is trying to figure out when they can land it. Again, I'm not mad at Crumb. He's just the messenger. There's beings, mystical beings beyond the curtain that control it, and Crumb is just, unfortunately, the pawn at the front line that's kind of used, the scapegoat, unfortunately. So I appreciate Crumb coming out. They didn't really have a lot to talk about, except just putting out a face for people to look at that, hey, this is CG. That's not what we were looking for. Anyways, Omicron's in Squad Arena. Can we get them to test out things like Darth Malgus? You know, it was really hard to get a good pace for Darth Malgus without testing it with the Omicrons. Nothing as of now. And gosh, Here's another line that we love to make fun of them for. Nothing is free. That's a very common line that CG likes to throw around there. Yes, we're aware of that. But what are you doing is kind of the main question. You guys keep saying nothing's for free, but what are you doing? You know, you're making all this money, not as much money as before, but what are you doing with this time and money? Apparently this isn't it. And you know, I just want to put this out there. So little things like this, for developers that are listening to this at CG, I am willing to pay you, because I assume just turning on Omicrons and Squadron is a very simple task. You're able to do it for Datacrons. I'm willing to pay you 1.5 times your hourly rate, whatever it might be, to handle this. And if CG wants to pay you whatever they're paying you, let them do so. This isn't that expensive to do. This whole nothing's free, it takes time. This is not an intensive thing. Same thing with fleet loadouts. Same thing with removing crystals from Squadron, letting us play your Squadron as long as possible. You guys keep throwing these excuses out there. It's the same song and dance. We can kind of see the action. The action speaks louder than the words. So just putting it out there. Feel free to reach out to me. You know, if we're related to Galaxy or stuff, you guys don't want to chat with me. But for the devs out there, tell your bosses, hey, he'll pay me 1.5 times what my rate is to do this. If it takes a week, cool, I'll pay you. And then they can pay you on top of that. Just putting it out there. I'll put my money where my mouth is there. As long as it doesn't take like 6 months, which I would be baffled if it takes 6 months, but a week too? I mean, come on. I can't imagine it's that difficult to let us do that. The only thing they kind of made a decent argument for is Datacrons are using territories in Grand Arena. Omicrons are game mode specific. Let's turn them on. Turn on, off. Again, I'll pay you on top of what Siege is paying, and I'll pay you 1.5 times more. If you want to argue, I'll pay you double your rate. I mean, seriously, come on. This is important stuff to help out our community, enjoy the game more. Fleet loadouts, another classic thing in the backlog. There's a long backlog of stuff, isn't there? So not much to elaborate there. Again, they can do all this other stuff, but simple stuff like this. And hey, I had to roll my eyes a lot. I was listening through the interview. I was like, all right, there's got to be something big. Unfortunately, it wasn't big. I mean, unless you think Salacious Crumb is a big deal. So I was like, all right, I'll push through it. But anyway, new territory battles. I will say this: it's kind of nice seeing them change their tune a little bit. Before they pretty much said they have no plans for raids, territorials, because it's expensive and it's got a short shelf life. And that's where the ideation of Datacrons and Conquest came from. Brilliant idea. Instead of a unique storytelling experience of Star Wars, the reason why we play Star Wars games, you want to do that, so the whole point aside. But at least they said it's not off the table, but the current model is not sustainable. I mean, to be fair, your Geonosis Territorials light side, no one's still maxed out. You guys created that thing with like 6, 7, 8 years into the future. So I don't know if I 100% agree with this, but it's nice to say that at least they don't have raids and territorials completely off the table. Jabba and territory battles. They didn't really elaborate too much on this, but as you guys know, they mentioned that Jabba's gonna have a territory battle node. It's gonna be its own unique node. It's not replacing anything else. I don't understand how this is the selling point. GOTB Darkside doesn't take a lot. I mean, it takes a good amount of work, but it's not like Lightside where it's mathematically impossible to max it out. And the people who are getting Jabba, especially first adopters, this is not going to be an enticing thing for a Jabba the Hutt node. So I don't know. I am really curious to see where they take this, but so far, I'm not interested in this territory battle. They haven't given me much. Gamorrean Guard. Basically, they mentioned how Gamorrean Guard is kind of an iconic thing when you think of Jabba. When you think of Jabba, you kind of think of Gamorrean Guards. That's kind of where they originated from. Possibility of getting changes, so it looks like they kind of lightly hinted at they're looking at the kit and seeing if they can maybe do something, because it should be a part of the core identity of the team. When it comes to Jabba, that kind of like when you think of Rey, you think of Finn. When you think of Supreme Leader Kylo, you think of Hux. Kind of like they're kind of necessary units to the team here. This is a very minor point. Test program. They said they would like to bring it back, but there may be probably no content creators. I honestly don't think the test program does much. They had a lot of feedback in regards to Datacrons being bad. They ignored it, and that's why it got leaked. So I honestly don't think the test program does a lot in Galaxy Heroes, except people that are mega fans just getting an early head start and knowing what's to come. I don't think it really has that big of an impact. It's just they're just testing it for bugs maybe, and even that we still get bugs when things come out. Conquest stamina. Should stamina be removed from Datacron nodes? CG basically said, nah, brah, it's not in the cards. That is the purpose of stamina. Gary, what the heck? That's not. Yeah, so even Google can do that better than you. So that's not going to change. I like the idea, but yeah, especially because one of the core conversations of Datacrons is it's hard to farm. After Conquest has gone away, you only have territory wars for the most part, and the shipments, and of course the unlimited packs, which even though Heidi and them kind of touched on the topic, Crumb kind of kept his hands off even though they said, please don't do it again. They're going to keep doing it again. You just know. They didn't say that, but you know how things work. Oh, man. I laughed out really loud. So guild leaders are an important thing. I think they're one of the most important members of the community because they're kind of CG relies on them a lot to keep the morality high. And they said, and the question came up, is there going to be any quality of life for guild leaders? No quality of life as of now. But don't you worry, their heart goes out to you. It's late, and I took a very cynical response, and I just laughed so hard. I know it's rough. You guys are kind of the lifeline of our community, but you know, my heart goes out to you guys out there. Oh. You know what really sucks, dude? I know they don't like creating raids and territory battles because they have a little bit of shelf life. They're expensive to make as well, even though that's the point of the game. You're supposed to make content. Don't tell them that. But raids are a big, what's the right word? It rallies the troops in a guild. It gets people excited. How do we take down this new, unique Star Wars themed challenge? Rancor raid, Sith Tremor raid, the AAT raid. That's one of the things that kind of gets the guild motivated and excited to play. Not Datacrons. I just want to put that out there. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Mod changes. There's going to be a mod change coming to the next title update. We did see that in the State of the Galaxy. There's some mod quality of life stuff, which is overdue. Hopefully it shows up soon. It's not going to be forgotten like how the gear changes happen. No mod cap changes are going to be happening. Basically, they said mod manage harder, but they're trying to solve the core problem of mod management. So right now there's a cap of 500. They say if you lift it, you're just going to fill it up again anyway. So you need to manage harder, and they're going to try to solve that hopefully with this next mod update that's coming around. I have some weird suspicion that they're going to add like 7-mods with this. Nothing comes for free. As they remind us, nothing's for free. So they're doing this quality of life stuff, but they didn't probably drop a tidbit of 7-mods. Mark my words. Let's see what happens. Gridden brought this up. I was excited to hear it, but then I was sad. Gary, what is with the... Oh, my gosh. Oh, gosh. The misspells here. That's what happens when you drink too much Java juice tonight. Double drop on ship notes, which are, ships, not the ship notes specifically. Why isn't it done? Well, it's a possibility, but no guarantee. And Crumb did not know, so... that's another big thing. Farming ships is a miserable experience in the game, especially for legacy ships like Houndstooth that are a staple, Kylo Ren's command shuttle, Emperor shuttle. We need a way to farm these faster. So nothing as of now. And then lastly, speaking of Crumb, is Crumb coming to Galaxy of Heroes? Good chance maybe, which I didn't know if that was a direct confirmation, but based off of Gridden and Heinz's response, I think they kind of maybe knew maybe slightly before to ask that question at the very end, because you know how it goes. You want to keep people watching as long as possible. You don't want to drop the big topic of the day right away, or else you're going to lose people right away. So they saved it at the very end. I think I didn't really get the impression that it was confirmed, but based off Heinz's response and Gridden, I think they kind of knew. And even Crumb was kind of going along once they said, oh, it's confirmed, even though I think the official response was good chance maybe. That's coming. Then they're like, oh, it's confirmed. And Crumb just kind of went with it. So that's pretty much all you need to know. It's a little unfortunate. It was not a very productive conversation. These interviews are, I only enjoy watching if there's actually like something meaningful to listen to. And unfortunately, it's a lot of the same, you can play bingo, play CG bingo. They're hearing our feedback, active conversation side the team. Nothing is free. And I think I'm going to add this add this to my bingo card. My heart goes out to you. I hope next time the gear phase 1 stuff comes up in the next interview, they're gonna say my heart goes out to you guys. I know Crumb probably meant something else, but when you think of CG dialect and their verbiage, like you take it a different way. So anyways, that's gonna be your Arnold late at night news. Hey, at least it was cool to see Crumb come out. Congrats on the kid, my friend. But man, I wish they had better communication. This game always has a hard time of communication, just doing some very simple things that would make people happy at the end of the day. So we'll see. Allegedly, the Crumb said there's a new road ahead coming, and I heard whispers. I can't confirm this directly, but Crumb is working on a big puzzle. I guess he said that on his own live stream yesterday on Twitch, so stay tuned. I guess we'll find out more to come in Galaxy Heroes, but there you go. Salacious Crumb is coming to Galaxy Heroes, and I bet Crumb is going to be a happy man. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And as always, my heart goes out to you.